Billionaires have been hit big time by Donald Trump's new tariffs, instantly erasing, according to one report, $208 billion of their collective wealth inside of just about a day. And that's just from the richest 500 people in America. And wait until you see who's hardest hit. Couldn't happen to a better person. But we're going to jump down to Elon Musk. He apparently lost $11 billion on Thursday alone as Tesla shares fell 5.5% following Trump's tariff announcements. That 5.5% drop is, of course, coming off of gradual drops that we've been seeing ever since December. The company has lost more than a third of its value since the beginning of the year. That's what most of his wealth is wrapped up in. So this has been very costly for him. Jeff Bezos, who's sort of like attached his wagon to the Trump train over the past couple of months, he's the next biggest loser on the list. He lost $15.9 billion because Amazon shares plunged 9%. And yeah, so the reciprocal tariffs from China probably won't hit Amazon as much as some businesses. But those tariffs on China are going to hit him really hard. So it might be difficult for Amazon specifically to bounce back from that and lose 9% like of your entire business in a day. That is an amazing drop. You work for years to produce that value, and then it's just gone because his buddy Donald Trump decided it should be.
Trump's tariffs just vaporized $208 billion from the richest people in America. And leading the pack of losers? Mark Zuckerberg. We're talking nearly $18 billion gone in one day. Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, they're all bleeding billions. But don't get it twisted. This isn't some genius master plan. This is Trump setting the whole economy on fire, and the people who backed him the hardest are finally getting burned. Let's break it all down. The hypocrisy, the fake victimhood, and why none of these billionaires actually care. Because they always find a way to land on their feet. Let's go.
But the top of the list is not Elon Musk. It's not Jeff Bezos. It is, in fact, Mark Zuckerberg. He's the biggest loser in dollar terms and also in some other terms. He lost 9% off of Meta. That cost him $17.9 billion, or around 9% of all of his wealth. And we can put up the full list here. You can see some of those other names will be familiar to some people. They're big donors, tech billionaires, that sort of thing. But it is a lot of money. Doesn't mean they won't earn it back, Brett, but at least in the short term, it's pretty significant.
So the amount of money that Zuckerberg lost was 17.9 cool. If you watch Social Network, you know it's cool. $1 billion. You know it's not cool. Losing $17.9 billion. I don't feel bad for these guys because by their own definition, their wealth doesn't exist. That's why we can't tax it while they have it. So yeah. You didn't lose any money that existed, guys. Congratulations.
Yeah. They'll be fine.
I love that these guys were all. It's funny because like it would be great if this was something that Trump had planned.
Let's just sit with that for a second. Mark Zuckerberg lost nearly $18 billion in one day. That's 4 times what Trump is even worth. And what's his response? He goes and buys a $23 million mansion in DC like it's a bag of chips. This is the level of absurd wealth we're talking about. These guys don't feel lost the way normal people do. They don't have to worry about groceries, rent, or medical bills. Their version of a bad day is watching a stock number dip while sipping champagne in one of their 6 homes. And the wild part? They pretend these losses aren't even real when it's time to pay taxes. They say, oh, it's just paper wealth. It doesn't exist. But the moment that paper wealth drops, it's treated like the sky is falling. You can't have it both ways. You can't say the money isn't real until it's gone, and then suddenly it's a crisis. That's not capitalism, that's a con. Let's not forget, these are the same billionaires who cozied up to Trump when it suited them. Musk, Bezos, Zuck, they all benefited from deregulation, stock market highs, and tax breaks under his administration. But now that the same guy is torching their profits with reckless tariffs, now it's, oh no, this is unfair. Give me a break. This is exactly the chaos they helped create. They rolled the dice on Trump's economic roulette wheel, and now they're losing. It's not unfair. It's just finally fair.
If he, like all these Republican and MAGA people, they want him to be this genius who's figured it all out. And it would be genius if he got all those billionaires behind him and then found a way for their wealth to get into the hands of most Americans. But no, Donald Trump's so brilliant. He made their wealth evaporate. Fine, don't care. But it didn't make it into the hands of everyday people. In fact, he's just making the stuff that everyday people buy more expensive. And then we would have to incur this pain. There's tons of better ways to do this, but we would have to incur this pain for up to a decade as we repatriate jobs from abroad to America. It's just 10 years of horrible pain with no real plan, and there's no real plan.
Yeah, and so look, I agree. I don't feel bad for them. Bet Noir in the YouTube chat was like, "Oh no, he's down to his last 175 billion." Exactly. It doesn't mean anything. Like you can only ride on so many yachts at the same time. I mean, even if you've got like a good ability to split, you put one foot on each, maximum 2 yachts. So again, the money. Don't get me on about the addiction to money, the dragon sickness, and all of that. But you're definitely right there. In terms of like whether it's planned or whatever, I mean, if it's planned, I think it's for the short-term turnaround that they can make a bunch of money on. But it would be funny if Donald Trump, like feeling deep in his bones and his flesh, like his pending mortality, just decides, well, if I can't have it, I don't want anyone to have it. And I'm just gonna burn down everything before I transition out of this mortal coil. That seemed, if he was a deep enough thinker, he's selfish enough to do that. I don't think he's actually that deep though, so it's probably not that.
No, but yeah, he's selfish enough because essentially Zuckerberg lost 4 times what Trump is worth, and
That's true.
It doesn't bother Zuckerberg as much as it would bother Trump.
Yeah. Anyway, and even with that, we're not going to go deep in this, but Zuckerberg apparently still has money to buy more mansions. He bought a $23 million DC mansion because, of course, he wants to hang out at the White House a bunch to try to manipulate regulations and laws to benefit himself, his class, and his company. And I guess he can't stay in a luxurious hotel. You gotta have that mansion that you'll briefly be in from time to time. God, these people have too much money. Please tax them.
And there it is. The truth they always dance around. These guys have too much money, too much power, and not nearly enough consequences. Trump nukes the economy, everyday people get slapped with higher prices, and these billionaires, they cry over fake losses while buying real estate next to the White House. It's all a game to them, and we're the ones paying for it. This isn't just about tariffs or tech stocks. It's about a system designed to protect the ultra-rich, even when they fail. So yeah, billionaires just lost billions, and they're still living like kings. Meanwhile, regular folks are stuck paying more at the store because of a tariff war nobody asked for. If you're tired of the games, the fake outrage, and watching the ultra-rich fail upward, make sure you smash that like button, hit subscribe, and turn on notifications. Because we're not done exposing the hypocrisy, we're just getting started. This is where the BS ends and the truth begins. I'll see you in the next one.